Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being on the Power Team Tech Call for March 2017. This is Catherine Hall, the creator of the 203K in a Box FHA Consultant Training and Marketing System and Executive Director and Founder of the National Association of FHA Consultants. Today we're going to be following in our series of educational sessions on understanding the flow of a 203K project. In January, our tech call, we talked about setting up an appointment, managing expectations, how to do the intake form, how to enter the order into Genesis using ISN and manually. And in February, we talked about what to do when you're at the feasibility evaluation, what reports you needed to print off and have with you or have had signed by your client, and how to evaluate the property. Today, we're going to talk about creating the preliminary work write-up. And so we're going to go into a discussion of what to do when you are creating that preliminary work write-up. So now, here you can see my Genesis screen. And I just want to say that Genesis is working beautifully for me. I am using it in so many aspects. One of the things that I really find powerful about Genesis, because I have so many projects, is working with what my phases and stages are for each job. It keeps me on task. Yesterday I had a meeting with my 203K project back office manager, and we went over all the draws, and I said, hey, what's happening with these three that have been more than 25 days, and we went over this. We had a really good session. We're going to be talking about draw processing more in June as we continue moving forward, but right now we're talking about creating the preliminary work write-up. So here you can see three projects that are at the point of creating preliminary work write-up. This is one here. This one on High Street was a project that I went out to the property to do as a home inspection, and when I got there to the home, I pointed to the client and said, hey, we're here to do a home inspection, but how are you buying this home? Because I see a lot of things that are problematic that would, if you're buying FHA, would pose an issue with the appraiser. And he says, oh, we're getting this rehab kind of loan. I said, oh, a 203K? And he says, yes. I said, well, you may not know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm an FHA consultant. And we actually went through the process of discussing what he would need instead of a home inspection, and actually converted the project into a 203K consultation. They're working with a lender, Annie Mack, who I've already worked with in the past, and things are now moving forward very smoothly. So that was the good news. This project here that we're going to be talking about that needs to go into preliminary work write-up, first of all, what you need to know is in order for you to be able to get to the preliminary work write-up stage, and I'll roll it back so you can see it, and you can roll back at any point of any project using Genesis. The only part of Genesis that you cannot roll back is draws, and we'll talk about that later on in the year when we talk about draw processing. So let's say, for example, you get out to the project and you have completed all of your preliminary work write-up documents. You took them, you printed them off, and this is what we discussed in January and February last month, how to print and preview these reports. When you have finished doing the preliminary walkthrough of the property and you realize it is moving forward to a feasibility study, then all you need to do is click this button to sign the PDF and finalize the pre-inspection report. You cannot get to feasibility until you finalize the pre-inspection. Now, let's pause, and I'm going to roll this job back again just so that you can see what happens if you roll it back again. So let's say you did go ahead and finalize it, but once you got to the property, you realize that the client had already submitted you a contractor's proposal, and all you need to do now is move forward to work write-up. Well, with that being the case, then you can't do that from this stage of feasibility. So what you do is you roll back again. So I just want to show you what to do if you find that you need to go straight to work write-up. Now, I'm not going to go straight to work write-up because I'm not skipping it. But this is what you would do. So you went out to the property, you created your preliminary inspection reports, you get there and you realize, oh, I've got a decent contractor bid, contractor meets all the necessary prerequisites, EPA lead safe practices certification, licensed, etc. I'm just going to need to just take this bid and convert it into a work write-up. Way to go. When you find that out at the property, your initial fee that you charged was going to be $400. You may decide, I'm going to charge them my full fee to go straight to work write-up, and you're going to explain it like this. You're going to say, I can charge you a fee for the preliminary report, and then I will have to submit you a preliminary report. When I do that, it'll slow down the process because then you'll need to review that preliminary report, submit it back to me, and then the contractor would review it, and then we would do the final work write-up. But the numbers here look totally acceptable. So what I would suggest we do, instead of me doing the preliminary report, I've got your bid here. The total amount is $40,000. Okay, the total fee is $45,000. I'm just going to go ahead and charge you if you like, I can just charge you the full $700 today, and actually there's going to be a $100 fee for the site visit. That's called the feasibility inspection, and the $700 for the work write-up. I can charge you the full $800 today, and we can just go straight to me creating the documentation you need to go to underwriting and closing. And if there's any tweaking with the contractor's bid, you're entitled to revisions after that point. So at that point, the client may say, oh, well, if this moves me faster to closing, let's just go ahead and do it. All right, so now, does everybody understand what I just described? Raise your hand if you get what I just said. All right, and this is how you can take a project that would normally be going into the stages of a pre-inspection, preliminary work write-up, and then a full work write-up, and just getting it right to work write-up. Okay, so you would hit this button here, and you would go straight to the work write-up. Now, I'm not going to do this, but these are the terms. Entering a project that was begun from another software, taking over a project from another consultant, or preliminary reporting steps not necessary as a contractor bid has already been provided and accepted. Okay, so those are the reasons why you would skip right to work write-up. I'm not doing that today. So I'm just going to, for this project, I'm going to finalize. Now, before we go into that, I want to briefly pause and talk a little bit about order entry using ISN. Okay, is that the one I'm looking for? And let me go back to my Genesis project 2715. Yum, yum, yum. Perfect. So now, by a show of hands, and I'll lower your hands. By a show of hands, how many of you are currently using ISN? Excellent. Way to go, guys. Okay, one of the things that we are going to be working with and had been working with ISN to create, and we got a little bit of a snag because the person who was involved assisting us with that had to go on maternity leave. Don't understand what that's about. I'm actually going to be picking that ball up myself, is the fact that I have a series of autoresponders already in ISN, and ISN was going to make them into a separate group that all of our members can instantly just turn on and have access to. I'm working with ISN right now to get that taken care of, and I am planning to really press hard to get that done by by April. Okay, so that's what my plan is. So here's the situation with this project here. I went out to the property and I did the feasibility inspection, a termite inspection, and the mileage charge, and I gave the client a $45 discount because he had done a previous inspection with us. This was his second 203K. So I gave him a little bit of a discount off. And I'm probably going to give him a little more of a discount in a minute, and I'll show you why. So now, we went out to the property and I charged the $400 for the feasibility inspection and the termite. Questions have been asked about termite inspections, WDO or P&O or whatever you guys call them around the country, wood-destroying organism infestation inspections. Okay, that's what we're talking about now. And whether or not they are mandatory. It depends on your market acceptability. What does your community, what do your typical transactions require? And if you are in an area like I am here in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley, there's no underwriter who is not going to require a termite inspection because there's so much termite damage in our area. Okay, we've got a lot of termites here. We've got a lot of damp wood, and we've got a lot of below ground wood because we have a lot of basements. So we have below surface wood, and we have a lot of areas where we have termites. So HUD does not any longer mandate or necessitate a termite inspection with FHA transactions. It is now up to the underwriter to determine if it is necessary for their comfort level of their transaction. So if you are not sure, and by a show of hands, how many of you personally are able to do termite inspections yourself? Raise your hand if you are able to do termite inspections. Okay, great, about half of you. All right, so for those of you who are able to do them yourself, here's the model we do. Now, I did charge him for the termite inspection, but I probably would not have done that normally, and I'm going to reimburse him these funds in a minute. I'll show you why. We do a physical wood-destroying organism evaluation for every inspection. And so it's one of our USPs that we do a free, quote-unquote, free termite evaluation. We do a free termite inspection. And when we do this free termite inspection, if they need the report, they have to pay the fee. So I'm going to do a termite inspection, and so are all of you, because you're going to be looking for evidence of damage caused by wood-destroying organisms to include in either your home inspection or your work write-up. So now raise your hand if you are familiar with the evidence of wood-destroying organism infestation and damage. All hands should be raised. You should all know what to look for and how to identify wood-destroying organism infestation, especially those in Florida. You should definitely know what to look for. So you know what to look for, and in your inspection reports, your home inspection reports, raise your hand if you are including evidence of damage caused by wood-destroying organism infestation. Recommend inspection by qualified pest inspector. Raise your hand if you put that comment in your inspection report should you find evidence of wood-destroying damage. Okay, so if you're putting in your report that you see a termite damaged joist, are you not reporting that as a structural damage? Raise your hand if you're reporting structural damage from termite in your inspection report. All right, so I'm saying it in a phrase that I think you guys are better understanding. All right, you go out to a property, you see termite damage in a crawl space, you see termite damage in the basement, or even at the foundation on a slab-on-grade house, and you're telling your home inspected client there's evidence of wood-destroying organism damage, either it's structurally compromising the property or not, whatever you describe. As a 203K consultant, you're doing the exact same thing. You're going to identify evidence of wood-destroying organism damage, replace joist. So as a home inspector, you're identifying it as indications of defect as evidenced by. As a 203K consultant, you're going to say repair or replace damage caused by. Raise your hand if you all understand the nuance of difference between a home inspection writing and a 203K writing. Okay? Perfect. So you find the evidence of termite damage and you need to repair, sister, replace the structural damaged elements in your 203K. As a 203K consultant, in your Genesis report, whoops, go back to Genesis. There we go. In your Genesis report, under your cover letter, your additional comments, after a thorough inspection of the property, the following items are noted. Evidence of damage from wood-destroying organism. Recommend WDO inspection. Okay. Boom. Okay, so there you can see that under the project comments and cover letter, I put this line here because now this is a preliminary report. It's going to go back to the loan officer, and then you're going to follow up with a phone call to the loan officer and say, I saw evidence of termite damage at the property. Is your underwriter will your underwriter need me to perform or provide a referral to a termite inspector? If you see termite damage and no evidence of treatment, and you're not feeling comfortable reporting that, yeah, the underwriter is going to say, heck yeah, get a termite inspection. If you're qualified to do it, then you can say that, you know, I did my physical assessment. If you need the report, it's $85 or it's $100. You can say, I'll do the physical inspection for free, but if you need the paperwork to support the findings, that's when you charge a fee. And this is something that we do very successfully as a home inspection company, and it's one of our USPs, free termite inspection with all home inspections, because we are able to do them. And then under the fine print, wood destroying organism inspection report fee of $85. So this has saved a lot of transactions, and where it has come to the point where we did the physical assessment, we wrote the notes, put in the folder, then a day before closing or the morning of settlement, the real estate agent calls and says, I need a termite report on this property right away because the underwriter says they never got one. Okay, well, you never told us you needed it, but we do them for every one. We need $85. Do you want to give me your credit card, Mr. Agent, or is the buyer going to give it to me? And then my office is able to process it, and everybody's happy. So how many of you who provide termite inspections think they're now going to add quote-unquote free termite inspections with every home inspection? Raise your hand. Oh, go ahead and put your hands up. It's a great USP, and as long as you put in the fine print that the cost for the report is what you're going to be providing as an additional service, additional fee. It saves a lot of transactions, and it saves you some headaches. We started doing that because we got sick of having to rush out to a property on the morning of settlements to do termite inspections. Okay, so raise your hand if you've got that call the day of a settlement and had to rush out to do a termite inspection annoyingly within your day when you didn't really want to for just $85 or some small fee, and it really screwed your whole day up, right? Exactly. So save yourself some trouble, make friends out of everybody, and if you have a really great agent who gives you a lot of business and they call you at that last minute, you can make a great friend and say, you know what, I'm going to waive the fee because you've been such a great referral partner to us, and I'll have that report emailed over to you in the next 10 minutes. It's a great way to bond to an agent. All right, so that was a little extra bonus. Did everybody like that idea? Okay, so back to this. And so does that help you all who had questions about termites? All right, so everybody cool with termites now? Perfect. So on your preliminary work write-up task list, your cover letter, your cover page is already checked off because it's automatically generated from the photograph that was created for your preliminary work write-up. Now, we've had questions about what do I do if I'm doing a limited 203K or I'm doing a Fannie Mae. Well, then this is where you can edit the name of the report, okay, and then you can change the name. And so in this case, I'm going to say feasibility 203K feasibility evaluation and report, because this project is not feasible, so it's not a preliminary work write-up. I'm basically changing this to a feasibility report because I'm about to kill the deal. Okay, so I'm updating the heading for this project, and so now you see where it says 203K feasibility evaluation and report. So now this is what the cover page looks like. 203K feasibility evaluation and report. So you can change it to whatever title you want. If you're working with a person who is just doing a evaluation, it's an investor. So you can change it to property contract. You can say investor assessment of FHA MPS. So you can say an investor assessment of FHA MPS. Anything you want to put in here, you can. Okay? So I'm going back. So now my cover page says 203K feasibility evaluation. So now in my cover letter, because I didn't hit save, so that's why that line item did not show up, and I'm actually not going to use the project comments. All I'm going to be doing is changing my cover letter. There is a sample wording provided in the cover letter that you need to modify for each of your projects. So here's what I'm saying on this project. Now what you can do very simply is you actually can create sample templates in Microsoft Word and then just copy and paste. So now I'm going to create a sample template. So this is my sample template when project is not feasible. F-E-A-S-I-B-L-E. Okay. All right. So going back to Genesis, you can copy this content, but I don't need this because we're not moving forward. I'm killing the deal. So here is so it's regarding 203K feasibility evaluation of property located at, and then you put the address. Okay, so and so basically I'm going to type in here a physical evaluation of the above referenced property was performed on, you stick the date, at that time the following observations were made regarding the feasibility of the project as an FHA 203K renovation loan project. Okay. Roofing replacement required, including all decking and some framing. Interior structural repairs to subflooring, at second floor and ceiling. So basically what I'm doing, when you kill a deal, you do not have to do the full preliminary report. All I do is I actually will make a description of all the things that need to be done, complete replacement of all plumbing elements for supply, drain, waste, vent, and all fixtures for 2 baths, kitchen, and laundry areas. Electrical. So do you guys get the set? Do you see? I don't have to make this a whole big deal. I don't have to fill out a preliminary work write-up. I can do all of this in a letter, and that's, so I'm going to just take this, copy, go back to Genesis, and I'm going to start from here and paste. So I'm going to hit submit just so you can see what I've done. Now, I'm not going to do a permits and certification page because I'm not moving forward. But if I wanted to just basically just put cross the T and dot the I, all right, I'm going to put, we don't have a contractor. I'm going to remove that contractor. So basically we're going to say that a general building permit's required, an HVAC permit is required. We're going to have to put in an all new HVAC system, roofing, electrical, plumbing. So we're going to put in here general building is going to be 300. HVAC is 150 in Philadelphia. Roofing is 150. Electrical for this scope of work is going to be 200. Plumbing is going to be 200. And so these are all the permits I'm sitting in here. And so then I just hit submit. So now, the construction cost estimates. Now, I put one in here when I was showing this to someone on a coaching call the other day. I'm going to delete this. We don't need to build a masonry wall, so I'm going to delete this. So to show you what it looks like when you are actually doing your preliminary work write-up. All right, so that's deleted. So we're going to go back. Now, this should make it now that it needs to be done. Great. So now when you log in and you're doing your preliminary work write-up steps, this will be red because you'll need to fill in numbers. So now you're saying to yourself, well, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to do a work write-up because I'm not going to need this. All you have to do is just put something in here just to check this box off, because we're going to show you how you're just going to print the one page and not do this. If you wanted to really just make people happy, you could just go in here and just put in lump sum numbers. So I'm just going to put in here, install new roof, replace damaged roof, install new roofing. Just make the word re-roofing, and I'm just going to put that in here just to get to this close. So I'm going to say this is roof. Oops, not kitchen and bedroom, roof. Mandatory contractor to replace all roofing elements, including decking and water damaged sheathing, framing for a complete job. That is your favorite statement. By putting that in there, it doesn't leave anything to chance, and it's subject to your interpretation after closing. Cost to include all permits and certification of satisfactory condition upon completion. Bingo. So I'm going to stick it in here. Quantity 1, I told him it's going to cost me $10,000. And I'm going to hit submit. I'm going to go up here, and when I do hit submit, and I have no other line items I'm entering, this box will open up for me to add additional comments and to put in that I do want the permit. So then I hit submit. So now, as you can see, this is done. So let's go back. Let's go back to viewing it. And there you can see that there's my line item. There's my description. There's who's carrying it out. And there's the fact that I have to have a permit. So let's go back to my construction cost estimate. And there you see I have one line item. All you need is one line item to make this work. So we're just going to move forward. Now let's talk fees. This is important, and I want to thank Oni Shaw for getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning in Oregon to have a coaching call with me. And I was so excited and so really encouraged by the content of our call this morning that is actually going to be the bonus recording and transcript for May. April's already done and in the can, as they say. So for May, you are all going to receive a copy of the audio recording and a written transcript of my conversation with Oni, where we talked about how to deal with real estate agents who want to keep their fingers and nose in a project, what to do with the fees, what to do about how to process, how to work with transactions when you're getting Genesis up and running, and about ISN, how to work with the program. And it was a video recording, so you actually are going to get a video, an audio, and a transcript for those members of the Diamond level program. For those of you who are gold level members, you're just going to get the DVD with the audio and video recording. And silver and bronze level members, you guys might want to upgrade because it was a very valuable conversation that we had. And so in that conversation, we talked about fees. You see, here's a situation that people are becoming aware of. And let me drag this back over. And again, you guys, I kept telling Oni during the entire call, this is going to be covered in the tech call, this is going to be covered in the tech call, which was fine. And because he had so many projects, I believe Oni says he's like gotten 3 in the last week. And with no marketing, right, Oni? So with that being said, he's now so excited about all these 203K jobs he's having, and they're actually coming from his home inspection. So here's what we talked about. You see, HUD established new fees as effective September 2016, and unfortunately, you've heard me complain about this, there was not enough of a groundswell of comment from people to get them asking us to change the fees when the public policy opinion was requested last November. Don't get me started on my soapbox. But these are the fees that you can charge for a work write-up. So now, you see, these are the full fees that you are allowed to charge. You're allowed to charge up to $1,000 for any project over $100,000. And yes, that is not a lot of money if you're doing a $200,000 project, and I'm going to show you how you get more money. Plus you get to charge an additional $25 for each additional dwelling unit, not to exceed $75, because with FHA you're only allowed to have four dwellings. So in every project that you do, you get to charge an additional $25 for every dwelling unit. So if it's a two-family unit and it is a $45,000 project, you get to charge $700. Excuse me. Thank you. There it is. Okay. You get to charge $700 plus an additional $25 for the second unit in the property. Yeah, I don't think it's enough to have to go through 2 units. Don't get me started, but there's ways we get paid, guys, and I'm going to show you that. After closing, when you do your draw inspections, you get to charge any draw fee up to $350 per draw, and that can include the additional fee for the additional units. So if you typically feel that it's market acceptable for you to charge $200 per draw fee, then you would be able to charge $225 because you get to charge the additional fee for the secondary unit. After also, you get to charge a $100 fee for the feasibility study on top of the $700 fee, and you get to charge a $100 fee for preparing a change order request. Now, this says that you get to charge $100 fee for preparing a change order request. It doesn't say, now, the way I interpret it, because I don't like to gouge my clients, is I will only charge a $100 fee per draw that I am submitting change orders. But if you submit 3 change orders, a cost savings and a cost paying change order, you technically can charge $200, 1 per change order. That's what the HUD guidelines say. And you can charge $50 for each re-inspection requested. So if someone says, I need you to come back out, you can charge $50. I don't do re-inspection fees. I call them draw fees. I'll never do $50. It's ridiculous. There's nothing I'm going out to do $50 for. Somebody wants me to come out to a property, I charge it as a draw fee. So let's go back to documenting our fees, because this is important. So HUD says you can charge $700. On the fee schedule that I list in my Genesis reporting, it says I charge $750. I am working with lenders who have been working with me for dozens of years, and they don't critique me on what I'm charging for my fees because they know I'm not gouging the client, and they pretty much leave me alone because they know if they don't, they're going to end up getting in trouble with the fact that they could be having me charge more fees than I'm charging now. But you are all new consultants. You are all looking at underwriters who are carefully reviewing your paperwork for any indications of problems. So I want you to follow the HUD guidelines. But even following the HUD guidelines, you will still make more money than I'm getting, and that's why the lenders don't bother me. And here's how you do it. First of all, you need to understand that how you charge the client is not the same as how you describe it in your underwriting, in your work write-up reports. So let's go over this. So for a $45,000 project, HUD rule says you can charge $700. So now you're going to charge an initial evaluation fee of $400. This is non-refundable and provides the preliminary work write-up report, or in the case I'm talking about here, the feasibility report. Okay? In addition to that, you are charging a $100 feasibility inspection fee, and that is applied if you move forward to a work write-up. So now with the HUD guideline saying you get to charge $700, the client paid you $400 at the time of the initial evaluation. So the work write-up fee is going to be, $700 minus $300, because you're going to apply $300 of this $400 to the work write-up, because $100 is applied to the feasibility inspection. So $700 minus $300 means a balance due of $400. But you've totally received from this client $800. $700 for the feasibility and the work write-up, and $700 combined for the work write-up and $100 for the feasibility inspection. Does everybody understand that? Raise your hand if you get that. Now, the client is going to pay you. The way the client pays you is $400 and then $300. Excuse me, $400 and $400. That's how the client is paying you. How you report it to the lender is going to be feasibility 100, work write-up 700. They don't need to know how the client dispersed it to you. All they need to see is that this is how they're going to document it, check off their little boxes, that, okay, he's not charging more than what the Fed says I can charge, and he's only charging for allowable services. So are you still getting the same money? Yes. But you report it like this. Okay? So now let me take you back to ISN. I'm going to take you to a project here. Not this one. Perfect. And I'm going to take you to the client. All right, so this is, so now you see, this is what I'm going to show you here. All right, so this is the client for whom I perform services. Now, you see here, he paid me $400 for the initial feasibility. His total project was over $150,000. So he paid me an additional $700 for the work write-up, plus he paid me $17 for mileage for going out to the property. So I received a total of $1,117.10. Why? Because I got $1,000 for the project of over $100,000. I got $100 for the feasibility, and I got $17.10 mileage. How he paid for it, if you can see here, was when I did the initial consultation and walked through the property on May 10th, I got $417.10 paid by credit card. Then, when we did the final work write-up 2 months later, I submitted him another invoice. See that invoice, email template sent to him saying it's time for you to pay me because I did the work write-up. And so there you can see I sent him the email and then he paid me. Okay? So that was an email that said, hey, balance due on the work write-up. You got to send me the money. They paid for it. And then you can see on the 25th, the work write-up was delivered. That's how he paid me. And so that's how I received the money. But let's go to Genesis and go back out to that project. Where's my Snyder Avenue? There it is, right here. So I'm going to show you the work write-up that was completed so you can see what the fees and how they were documented. This is my work write-up documentation, basic contractor bid. And there you can see, I'll show it up here. So my feasibility report, paid at inspection including mileage, it only shows $117.10. Did I only get $117? No, I got $417. But they don't have to know that. They don't care. And then work write-up shows $1,000. Now, you see this here? The client also paid me for a contractor bid meeting. And I was able to submit this to the underwriter, and the underwriter reimbursed it as something they considered an allowable fee. Not all lenders will allow consultant bid meetings, and if they ask you to take it out, you need to let your client know when you schedule the bid meetings that they may or may not allow you to have this meeting, payment reimbursed. Okay? If they do, you're great. So now here you can see this loan, I'm frustrated to say, was done before HUD allowed me to do any. This was back done last year when HUD said draw fees were only $100 per draw, and so I could only charge $100 per draw, but I also charged 30 miles for mileage, so I got $85. So I got an additional 5 trips of mileage. So in total, I got $500, and I'm getting $585.50 for mileage. However, we have actually in addition to that, we have 11,000 $916 contingency. So when I do change orders, I'm going to be dragging out an additional $100 per draw to make it so that I am actually getting $200 for my draw fees. But do you see how the fees? So now if you look at the fee schedule, now fees paid by borrower, including mileage, $117.10. Work write-up, $1,000. Contractor bid meeting, $192.10. The reason why that does not show up on here is because the contractor bid meeting for Snyder Avenue was under a separate ISN order record. And so there you can see it right there, $192.10. And so this is a separate bid meeting that the client paid by credit card. So I got $192.10 paid separately. Where is it at? Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, so the client paid me a total of $1,309.20. Now, he doesn't care, and he probably didn't even read this to see how it's being dispersed to the client, how it's being paid back by the lender. All he knows is that the settlement table, they're going to deduct $1,309.20 from the scope of work. We did not have to do a termite inspection. They did not require it for this loan, and so I didn't bill them for it. Everything was good. The lender did not want a termite inspection. I did not see any evidence of termite infestation, so I did not require any kind of structural repairs for termite infestation, so the underwriter was okay without it. So that's why that wasn't included here. So the client paid me $1,309, but they paid it to me in the way I needed it to be paid, but I described it in the scope of work the way the underwriter needs it to see so that I don't get flagged. Does everybody understand this? Is two separate ways of reporting. Once to your client and once to the underwriter. Raise your hand if you understand this. Is you can get as much money as you want by documenting it correctly on this report. Okay? And there you can see my draw fees, my mileage, the feasibility report, the work write-up, and the bid meeting. So total fees included in escrow was $1,894.70 that I'm receiving on this project, not including an additional $600 for my change order fees, which will come out of my contingency. So ladies and gentlemen, if there is any other reason to do 203K, it's right here in these fees, because all these fees were paid to me before closing. Okay, so this is one of the most important and wonderful things about 203Ks. You get paid, and I'm proving it right here every single day. You do get paid. So with that being said, let's go back to the document that I was showing you, how you can get paid even more money if the project is a larger job. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. With a project of over $200,000, you are absolutely going to be needing to look at architectural plans. You're going to have an architect go in and give you structural drawings and architectural blueprints or plans for the project. And when you are reviewing these plans, reading them, and interpreting them in your work write-up, you're able to charge a fee described under HUD guidelines as architectural plan review. And the architectural plan review fee is not dictated on what that fee is. So am I able to, now I typically want $2,000 for a project of $200,000. How do I get it? Well, in many cases, I will dictate that because of the extreme scope of work and the severity of the project, that in order for me to make sure I'm accurately assessing all needs, I will require that I get to perform a home inspection. And I do so. All right, so there's the $400 for my home inspection. Then I'm going to get my $1,000 for the work write-up. I'm going to get $100 for my site visit, otherwise known as my feasibility. And I'm going to charge a $500 architectural plan review fee. So there's my $2,000 that I'm getting from the client. I get all this prior to closing. Now, if I decide I'm not going to do the home inspection because I don't really want to gouge my client, or I hate doing home inspections. I tell you now, I just don't like doing them anymore. There's liability, the reports are boring, and the liability stretches even into construction if you don't carefully write in your home inspection agreement that this home inspection agreement and my liability is void should the client actually will end at the moment a 203K renovation project alters the condition of the property. Okay, I will repeat that. You may want to change your home inspection agreements to state that your liability as a home inspector and the terms of this agreement are no longer binding on the home inspection at the point where renovations take place in the property as a result of any form of post-purchase renovation project, aka 203K, Fannie Mae home style, or other construction and renovation to the home. Okay, does everybody get that? Raise your hand. Because the conditions in the property change, and you cannot be held responsible for behind-the-wall knob and tube wiring that you did not see because the walls were covered up during the home inspection. Okay? So I will be drafting that. I will be adding that wording in an email and also posting it on the Power Team site in the next couple days. So you actually can update your home inspection agreements. All right? So now, let's say I'm not going to do my 203K. I'm not going to do the home inspection. I'm just going to do my 203K. So with that being said, I'm only going to get $1,500. I'm not hating because I get $1,500 before closing, and I describe it in these ways, which is perfectly acceptable to the underwriter. After closing, you can charge up to $300 per draw plus mileage. So let's say you charge $300 for your draw. Remember, it's a two-family dwelling. So you charge, let's say it's a three-family dwelling. You charge $200 plus an additional, you charge extra money. So let's say you charge $300 per draw, and it's 6 draws. Now, at some point, you might find that the HUD guideline says you're allowed 5 draw inspections. Yes, you're allowed 5 draw inspections, and you are also allowed a final inspection. So what is a final inspection? It's a draw inspection. But because some underwriters are living to the letter of the law, you may have to document in your documentation that you're doing 5 draw inspections and a final draw inspection at $300. So your draw inspections are 5 at $300 equals 3 times 5 is 15 plus a final inspection, okay, at $300. It's supposed to be an equal sign. So that equals $300. So how many draws? So you've got for your total pre-purchase, pre-closing fees, you're generating $1,500. Your draw fees are another $1,800. There's not a single 203K project I've ever done, oh, maybe one, that did not have at least one change order. The larger the project, the more the change orders. So on a $200,000 project, I'm looking to do at least 3 change orders. So if I do just 3 change orders, okay, 3 at 300, 3 at $100 each, excuse me, that's an additional $300. So my total fee, not including mileage, for this one project, and that's my mileage calculation, is $3,600. Who here likes those numbers? Raise your hand. And that's just on one job. So now, do I care if I didn't get the $2,000 up front? No, I don't. Because at the end of the day, I'm earning $3,600 plus mileage on this property. I have a happy client. I have a happy underwriter. And nobody's complaining about my fees because they're all exactly what HUD mandates. So I hope this puts a total rest on discussion about what fees are. I hope you will guys do me a favor. Can I ask a favor of everybody? Please. Would you go post to the 203K in the Box and NAFAC Facebook pages today that you received complete clarity on how to process and charge fees to meet HUD guidelines, and that you're so excited about doing 203Ks using the HUD approved fees? Because a lot of people think that we hate the fees, and actually we do, because they're not acceptable, they're too small. But if we can get them the way if we can get them this way, let people think that we're happy. It's all about advertising. It's all about press. It's all about marketing. So who here will promise to go out to the Facebook pages and advertise to the world that you are totally excited about doing 203Ks with the fees charged by HUD, and that now you've had a great understanding through your membership in our 203K in a Box program? Raise your hand if you promise to do that today. There you go. Get those hands up, guys. I only see 5 hands, and there are 15 people on this call. I'm coming after you, and I know who you are. So this is actually a page that's going to be saved, so you're going to have access to this page. And again, this is a webinar that you can refer back to at any time. So now I'm going to lower your hands. Does anybody, before we move on, want to type in or raise your hand to ask any other question about fees? Does anyone have a question about a fee? Okay, Ludwig, I'm going to unmute you real quickly because I want to make sure you all understand this. And perhaps, Ludwig, your question might be something that others may have. Normally, I don't allow comments during this call because we have such a limited time. Ludwig, I'm unmuting you. What is your question?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a question. They're working on my cable out here.
Oh, okay. All right. So are you cool with the fees?
Yeah, I just had to switch everything over to my phone.
Okay. So does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I just wanted to serve you if you had a question. Okay, good. All right. So his hand keeps popping up, so that's okay. All right. So no questions? Let's move back on into the work write-up. I will save this after the meeting's over. So that was an example of a fee. That was project. So I'm going to close that one out. Let's go back to the job that we're working on in preliminary work write-up. So let's go back here. We're back in feasibility. So we've got our construction cost estimate, the fee schedule here. And so now we're going to put in here that the client paid So the client paid for it. Okay, so go back to that order for Burke Street. So he paid $427 and no cents. And it made no sense because guys keep buying these houses that are ridiculous. Submit. Okay, so now draw fees. I'm noting to them what my draw fees would be if we moved forward, and I'm going to charge him $250. You can go up to $350, and you don't have to even describe why. I'm doing $250 because there is an additional unit, and the mileage charge is calculated. I forget what the fee. It's $27. So if I just take $27 divided by 0.545, that comes out to 49 miles. Cost per mile is 0.545. And as you can see, we now allow 3 decimal positions after the three places after the decimal for your mileage. All right, so 49 miles. And maybe a rounding error there, so that's fine. So I'm going to submit this. And it was now submitted. So everything is done, and now consultant comments, and now the photo album. Now, yesterday in the what's the word I'm looking for? Skype group, thank you. I actually shared with you all a great new program that can be used to reduce the size of your images. How many of you actually saw that in the NAFAC group, in the Genesis group yesterday? It's called Fast Image Resizer. And here it is right here. It's a free download. I downloaded it and I tested it, and it's fantastic. And I'm going to show you how to use it right now. So I'm going to download it again here on this computer. I downloaded it on my laptop. Okay, so you do not have to enter your Facebook or your Google. You don't have to do that. You can just hit alternative download, so no one has to know who you are. I don't like doing it. I like to just do alternative downloads. So now I'm going to download this now. Oops, I don't want that. Stop all this. Okay, great. So where is it at? Where'd it go? I don't want this. All right, so now it's downloading it. And what it's going to do is it's going to open up a dialog. When it finishes downloading, it might take a while, but it will allow me to import my images, resize them all at one time, because sometimes you have a situation with your Genesis where your picture sizes are too large. So for example, I'm going to go out to the folder to get the pictures. As you can see, I have a separate folder just for my 203K projects. Pre-closing, before photos, and there you can see I already resized them using this program. It made a new folder just with the resized images. And so just to show you why this project is not feasible and what some of the things are, I don't know if you can see this really very well. See if I can make these pictures bigger. All right, so you can see we had thousands of dollars just in concrete work. This was the rental unit. Oops, that's only one. Sorry, I'm going to choose files. I'm sorry, let me do it the easy way. So how do you select files? I'll put medium. You can select 25 photos at a time. So what I typically do is I will arrange my screen so that I get 25 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so you can start with 1. So you hold the shift key down. Let's see, I used to try to make it 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drop it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ugh, one more. Bingo. So I take this and I take the first 2 groups. That's 20 images. If I wanted to do full 25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can go over to here and I hit open. And now you see it says 24 because that first picture was just a separator. I take a picture of the order form that shows between images, between groups of pictures. Oops. So I hit the first one and I went down here to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom. So that's 25. And I hit upload. Okay, so that it didn't download, but it will if you have it in there. So that program does work. Fast Image Resizer, it really works beautifully. What it does is it puts this little tiny dialog box on your computer. You can drag the folder right into this drop files here, and it will create a new folder with all of your images resized to whatever resolution you want. I use the second one up, which is 1024 by 764 or something like that. It's a great program, and it's very easy to use. So there you can see I put in these pictures, and look at this job. The client can only afford $100,000. Purchase and rehab. Is this feasible? Just by looking at this rental unit, which is going to be a studio apartment, you know I don't have any money for this loan. Okay, so now I'm going to add more pictures. I took the first 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll start here, and then I'm going to go down to here and hit open. And this is uploading all the photos. And as you can see, it takes a few seconds, but they all successfully uploaded. And there they all are. So looking further, since this project, why is this project not feasible? Well, I've got complete roof replacements. I've got significant water damage. I have to completely insulate all these walls. I have to put in new drywall. I have to replace exterior doors. I have to replace all the windows. I have to look at the ceilings. This is the first floor. I have to put in all new framing. I have to remove walls. He wants to relocate walls. We have asbestos floor tiles. All these are things that are reasons why this job is not feasible. So I don't have to kill myself writing up a whole detailed report. I can do it in the cover letter, and the cover letter combined with the photos will be more than enough to get this project out. So I've already got 50 pictures in here. So 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all right, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So I'm going to start here, grab these, hold the shift key down. Okay, so I'm just going to take them in groups of 20. And I'm going to upload them. So you understand this is how, so if your pictures are properly resized, you will be able to do this with no problem. If your pictures are not resized, it won't let you put as many images in because you're only allowed to put either 25 images or 25 megabytes. So each of your pictures is, 3 megabytes. Okay, you can only put in, like let's say each of your pictures is 3 to 4 megabytes. You're only going to get 8 to 10 pictures per upload. And it's not a problem with the software, it's a problem with the size of your images. You can still upload them, but it's going to take you forever to get them all in there. All right, so I've done 10. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did the second 20. So as you can see, by grouping them in groups of 10 or 20, I'm able to easily know where I'm moving the next group that I'm uploading. So I'm uploading all of these because I want you to see them, to see how if the project is totally not feasible, you don't have to kill yourself writing a full complete report. So I'm going to upload these images, and there you can see how quickly it's going. And so my last set, and this is what you do, the same thing you do when you're uploading images for draws, which we'll talk about in a few months. All right, so I did the last 2. So I did, let's see, I did 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So this is the end. So I've uploaded all my images, and then I want to review them with you because I want you to understand that pictures speak 1,000 words, and you can't fight the feeling when the pictures tell you what's going on. So if you have pictures that you don't want to have, you got a duplicate, you can simply just delete them. So now, since I have pictures of the front of the house, both at the beginning and the end, I might just take off a couple. So I've got one in the middle and at the end. So I'm going to take a couple of these off because I don't need them all. Got several images of the front of the house, so I can take off a couple of these. I got multiple images, so I'm going to delete them. And there you can see. So moving forward, this property had, this is the second floor, looking up to the ceiling of the second floor. This is the floor on the second floor with holes in it. The rain was coming down on my head, and I was on the first floor from all the damage on the second floor. There you can see the hole in the floor in the second floor. They had metal steps. This was actually a commercial building that they were trying to convert into a residential building. And so they had these old metal steps, these huge wide metal steps with rust underneath them. This is the floors. This is the basement here. We had active water in the basement. It was completely soaked through. And you can see we had gutter problems. We had damage at the side. We have damage around. We needed to replace all the windows. The project is going to cost an easy $150,000, $180,000. The electrical service panel box had improper wiring. I needed to install all new plumbing. The old cast iron. We had a lot of fun. You don't have to worry. This is actually the water. You can see the reflection of the water in the basement. All this is flooded in the basement. So, do I need to do a whole work write-up on this job? No. The pictures tell it all. But let's assume I've done everything I want to do. I hit print preview. So how many are having fun so far? We having fun? Raise your hand, because I'm loving this. I'm actually going to deliver this to the client today. After we finish this call, this goes right out to the client. I'm just going to add a few more comment lines to the sections of the things that are wrong. And I'm keeping my full fee. Come on, work with me. Sometimes I'll have a situation where I get out to the property, and right there at the inspection, the client says, I don't think this is going to work. I don't want the house. I will tell them, look, if you like, I will just give you a one-page letter that tells you things don't work, and I will not charge you the full $400 plus mileage. I will charge you a $200 fee, which will include the mileage and my time for today. And I'll just basically just send the one-page letter. I won't do all this, but this client wants a quote-unquote report, so I'm going to give them this whole package right here with the photos, just like this, so they can have what they want, and I'm charging the full fee. So there's my cover page, and as you can see, I was going to continue writing more. There's my permits, and there's that one line item that I put in there. Here you can see the fees listed and the total scope of work. There is no holdback listed, contingency listed here because I didn't add one because I'm moving forward. And here's the fees paid by the buyer, fees that are currently reimbursable to be. Now I can actually unclick this because I'm going to take this out because this is just going to the buyer. So I'm going to unclick all of these fees so that nothing is showing for the escrow, just what's paid by the buyer. And there you can see this is my consultant comments. I'm going to add a few comments to basically say architectural plans will be required before a work write-up can be delivered to determine structural integrity and required repairs to meet structural soundness. I'm going to also put in that a mold inspection is required due to active water in the basement. And I'm also going to put in that, and I might just have those two the only items I have. If they move forward, they're going to need that. And then here is the mandatory recommended desired listing. Nothing is recommended. Nothing is desired. Here's my classification list. And here's the photo. So now, I want to show you some sophisticated things to do, particularly if you're not moving forward with the project and you don't need all those extra pages. Now, in a normal preliminary work write-up, you'll have information in the desired, you'll have information in your recommended, and you'll have columns in all of these. You'll also will have put in your contingency. But let's say you're not doing that. So I'm going to download this file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to print the PDF. And what it's going to do is it's going to create, I'm going to change this and I'm going to save it as a PDF file. And I'm going to put it in the folder with the client information. Come on, hurry up. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to stick it in the folder where it belongs. As a pre-closing report. So this is, I'll put the address 2715 Berks Street feasibility report. Okay, so I'm going to stick that in there and save it. And now I'm going to go back. So now what I want to show you right now is how to change your contingency if you haven't done it up to this point. So you've gotten to the point where you're about to print your report and you notice, oh my goodness, I didn't change my contingency because you didn't hear back from the lender until right before you deliver the report. Either way, you go into the project, go back out to the main page, and you go here to the button that says View Project Details. So this is where you click this, and here where it says Edit Project. So now I hadn't indicated what the contingency would be, so I'm going to put in 20%. With all this much work, you know it's going to be 20%. And now I've saved that. And now I can go back to my preliminary work write-up, and it will now have that contingency added. So now when you produce your preliminary report, you click the button that says Sign the PDF with your signature, and you only hit the preliminary report at this time. You only finalize it when you are ready to move to the next step of obtaining contractor bids. Okay? So what do you do if you don't need all the things that you've just done? So I'm going to open up the file I just created. So now I'm doing a letter that is not needing all those additional pages. I recommend strongly, and you find that I very rarely will specifically recommend you guys get certain software, but I really recommend you get Adobe Acrobat Reader DC and pay for it. It's like $9 a month, but this is the program that will allow you to send it out for signature, track the signatures, email it, and you can comment and edit anything you want. And one of the most valuable things that this program does, it allows you to print specific pages. Okay, so you actually can combine files, you can organize the pages, delete, insert, extract, or rotate pages. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit Tools, and I'm going to organize pages, because I want to take out some of those pages I don't need, but I don't just want to delete them. I want to be able to look at them as I'm deleting them. And this is one of the features of Adobe Acrobat Reader. So I'm selecting the files. So I'm going to choose the files. Now I can just drag and drop because it's actually in my folder right now. Hang on for a second. Let me open that up. I'm dragging from another screen. I'm going to drag it in here. It's going to upload it to the server, to the internet, and then I'm going to be able to open it up and take out the pages I don't need. Because this is a limited report just to tell the people that the job is not doable, I don't need all those pages because I'm not going to talk about desired or recommended. All I'm doing is showing them a list of the things that need to be done and the photo album, and I'm saying, hey guys, basically I'm giving them a report that allows them to withdraw their offer. So in a minute it's going to pop open. Generating thumbnails. And it's a little slower because I'm running so many programs in the background. And there you can see all the individual pages that are created for this package. So now I want my cover, I want my letter, I'll keep the permit page, I want my work write-up, I'll keep the summary page, I'll keep the fee page, but then I don't need this breakdown of additional comments. I could probably keep that if I want to add additional comments, which I will later. I'm going to get rid of the mandatory, recommended, and desired. I'm going to get rid of the mandatory, recommended, desired total page. So now this report has only the pages that I want to have in it, which is a cover, a letter, the permits that would be necessary. I'm actually going to take out permits. We don't need to know about the permits. I just took that out. So my work write-up with the total page, the fee page, my additional comments, and everything else. And so now I'm going to save this. So I'm going to hit save. And now it's going to convert it back into the file I needed to. And so now it's going to be down. I'm going to download it back into the folder where I got it. Right there. And it changes the name because you already had the one file there. So it never replaces the file. It puts a number 1 next to it, so you always have that backup. And there is my new file with just the pages that I want. Bingo. Okay? All right, so once that's done, so let's go back out to this file. Once that's done, and I've submitted my preliminary work write-up, I can hit Print Preview Preliminary Report, and when I click the little Sign the PDF document button, that's when it will insert my signature on all pages. You can print a sample one before that doesn't put your signature on it, but then you can get one that does. And so once this comes up, now while this is scrolling, you also see above that it says Preview Blank Contractor Bid. If you're doing a limited K or a Fannie Mae, you may be stopping at this point. And if you are, you can submit the feasibility report and a blank bid that the client can then use to submit to the contractor to move forward with their limited 203K project. So here's the report where I had clicked, and there you can see my signature now appears at the bottom of that report, this permit page, and on the bottom of the work write-up, and at the bottom of the fee page and the comment page. So now all the pictures have all the pages have my signature, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, so we're here at feasibility. We've got everything done. I want to finalize this. I can preview my blank contractor bid package, so you can create that and add it as a separate attached document to your file. And then you can finalize it, and when you finalize it at this point, then the next step begins of your contractor bidding. So I'm going to finalize this because I can roll it back. And then you make a mistake, just roll it back. You can roll back anything, anytime. And as this rolls back, again, if you're doing a limited K or a Fannie Mae, they may be just working forward without you and not need. So at this point here, you've got the feasibility report that you can print off, again, if you need it. You've got your contractor blank bid package that you can print off if you want to give it to them. And you now can invite contractors to bid, or if need be, you can roll back. Or in the case of this project, once I finish delivering the report and I'm happy he's not buying the property, I'm going to end the project. Because at this point, you might find the need to kill it, which is what I'm going to do with this job. Now, I'm not going to end it right now because I want to make sure he's not buying the house. It's some miraculous situation where the seller sells it to him for $1 instead of $20,000 so he can get the work done. So I'm going to roll it back. So by rolling back, you will have to finalize the report again to return to contractor bidding, which is okay by me. It doesn't delete any of the data. It doesn't change anything you've entered into the preliminary report. It just takes away the finalized stage. And if you had invited any contractors, they would have been wiped out and you would have need to re-invite them again. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? Because that concludes the discussion of completing your project through preliminary work write-up. So now we've completed 3 phases of the 203K project. Again, January was, and then here at this point, once you've created your preliminary report, you're going to upload it to the client. So let me show you one that I did yesterday, day before yesterday. And this client paid for the preliminary report. It actually started out to be a home inspection. And we actually had to change it to a home inspection. So now we changed, and you can see where it says inspection type was changed to a renovation consultation, but we didn't change the fees. So I need to go in and fix that. My assistant didn't edit the fees and change what the fee was that was being charged. So when she hadn't done that in a while. So now she changed the inspection type to renovation, but what she didn't do was, you can see where she left the fee under PA single detached, because when we started out, this was supposed to have been a home inspection. As I said, it converted to a 203K right there at the property. And that's the fee that was charged. So now I let her, and so now we gave her a $100 discount. So that's why the fee does balance out. And there's the total fee that she paid. So I'm going to save it. So yes, my assistant, when I told her you need to change this to a 203K, because then the client had to execute the 203K agreement online. Okay, you see where it says, please resend them change the order to a 203K consultation, change the order and send them to 203K consultation inspection agreement. They're working with Andy Mack, told him I would not charge them any additional fee for the preliminary work write-up. They do know they will pay a balance if it moves forward. And so we sent them the 203K feasibility agreement, and they executed the new agreement. So let's go back to the order. And so what I did was, once we finished this, she signed the new agreement. She paid the fee online, and you can see we made a change. And now I uploaded a feasibility work write-up, and that's the preliminary report. When they decide to move forward, when they get the contractor bid, and we'll discuss this in May when we talk about final work write-up, but just to give you a clue what's going to happen as far as the fees, since we've talked about fees, at this point what we'll do now is we will now edit the fees when they're ready. because right now this says it's 100% fully paid. But when we are finished with the work write-up and we know what that fee is for the work write-up, we stay in this order, and then I go down here and I add as a line item work write-up. And you see these are all the fees that we have with regard to 203K. Let's say the work write-up is $40,000, so I'm going to add another $400. Once I add that fee and update this report, now this shows the project as a balance due, and we'll discuss this in May a little further, but I just want to review this so that you understand the fee situation. Okay, so let's review the order and view it. So now it's going to show up and say that the project is not fully paid. There you see where it says not paid. So now she owes me money. So now I'm going to send, so when I'm ready, I'm going to send her an email. And the email I'm going to send her is fee due, and where is it at? Email to, let's see, where is it at? I passed it. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. 203K. Where is it at? Let's see. Payment due. I think it's called payment due. Order sending invoice as a link. There it is. Sending invoice as a link. And I'm going to add the client. And I'm going to add an additional comment that the following payment is due for the work write-up. So you can see here I have a message. So this is to view your inspection invoice. If you need, you can click pay to pay online. And so it basically tells them that to view your invoice, click here to download and view the, and I actually will add a comment saying the additional fee is based upon the work write-up, blah, 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 and that will go right in there. So you can see you can add a message. And so I'll preview it again. And that shows up right there in blue. So now if you don't have this ability, you can edit your email templates. And we're going to talk about email templates, and we're going to talk about using ISN. I'm going to just close this out. I'm not going to send this order. I'm going to go back to the order. I'm going to take that fee off. I'll do that after our call because we only have 6 minutes left. We're going to talk about ISN and integration, and we're going to talk about all the different autoresponder email and communications that you can send using the 203K program and the templates that I've created to make 203Ks easy when we are going to be having an InterNACHI House of Horrors event. The InterNACHI House of Horrors is in Boulder, Colorado. And let's see if I can go to the link for that. And InterNACHI is allowing us to be able to use the House of Horrors for a 203K House of Horrors training event. We're going to be hosting this event in May, and the dates are either May 5th and 6th, which is a Friday and a Saturday, or 6th and 7th. And the reason why I'm not certain is InterNACHI is going to be holding a contractor certification training on Monday, the 9th of May, and they wanted to know if I'd be interested in assisting with that. And so there won't be a gap in the day's schedule. We're looking to possibly move our event over to correspond with their event. So it's going to be in Boulder, Colorado, and what we're going to do, there's a certified home inspector class. It's going to be on the first, on the Monday following our event. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the House of Horrors on day 1 as FHA consultants. And we're going to look at this property and evaluate it not as home inspectors, but as FHA consultants. And when we do that, the first day and then the second day, we're going to go back to the properties. The second day we're going to go back to the House of Horrors, and we're going to, hang on for a second, let me hit this here. The second day we're going to sit down either at the House of Horrors in their conference room availability or at the hotel, which is around the corner, where people are going to be able to stay in one of their rooms. And the second day we are going to do a Genesis data entry based upon the evaluation that we are going to have at this House of Horrors. Now, I want to let you understand that this House of Horrors is an incomplete house. So there's going to be things, it's not, you know, this, a 203K would never have a house in this condition, typically. But we're going to act as if this person was buying this property, someone had started gutting it and killed it, and now we're picking it up from here. And so you're going to have a chance to go through a house and look at the things that need to be done, not as a home inspector, but as a 203K consultant. And then the second day, we're going to enter the data into Genesis, and we're going to have conversations about what are FHA minimum property standards and how they apply to the 203K. And so that is what we're doing. And so, as I said, looking at the May calendar, 1 minute, hold on, it's coming up. We're either going to hold it on May 5th and 6th, which would leave a gap in the schedule, and then their event starts on Monday, or we're going to hold it on the 6th and 7th, which means you guys could fly out on Friday, fly out at the end of day Sunday, and be able to, and then be back at work on Monday. Or if we do it, I was hoping to do it the 5th and 6th, that way you could fly out Thursday and then come back, and then fly out, come back on Sunday. So by a show of hands, which would you prefer? First of all, by a show of hands, how many think they would like to attend this event? And did I mention that the only cost will be to each person, at this point, the only cost will be $50 at this point, and that's just for the meals, because they have a catering company that comes in and provides meals, and so it's just going to be $50 for breakfast and lunch and at the event. So it's going to be free to all of our members. It's not going to be free to our non-members. People who are not members of the 203K in a Box program will not be able to come for free, and it's going to be free to our diamond and gold level members. Silver and bronze level members, you will be paying an additional fee. But for most of you who are on the call, you are already gold and diamond. You will pay nothing except your lunch fee. Diamond level members do not even pay for lunch. So gold pays for lunch. Silver and bronze do pay a fee. Diamond, it's 100% free to you. And diamond level members, you can bring 2 people with you. You and 1 other person can come to the event. So there are benefits to diamond level membership. So pretty much everybody on the call has said that you're interested in coming. How many would prefer Friday and Saturday over Sunday and Monday? Raise your hand if you like Friday, Saturday. Option A. So no hands went up. 1 hand went up. Okay. 2 hands went up. Okay. So 2 people like Friday and Saturday out of the 15. So I'm assuming option B. Raise your hand if you prefer option B of Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so all the rest of the hands went up for that day. A few hands didn't go up at all. Okay, either is okay. 1 person said either is okay. So InterNACHI is very excited about this event with us. They are going to be marketing it for us. So we're hopefully going to have some people who are not even 203K consultants coming to learn about our industry, and you guys will be our ambassadors, our knights about this program. So mark your calendars now for the weekend of May 6th through 7th, 5th through 7th. For InterNACHI House of Horrors in Boulder, Colorado. You'll be flying into either Denver or Colorado Springs, and you will have to make transportation arrangements to Boulder. Okay? So it is now 9:29. We are finishing on time, even without Samantha here to yell at me and say, Catherine, 1 minute warning. See, I can do it, Samantha. She's not on the call. She's, again, on maternity leave, but we have her in spirit. So does anybody have any other questions? Samantha is amazing. Thank you for asking. She's enjoying motherhood. I'll be seeing her next week when I go to Fabby in Florida. We also sent out a comment to everybody asking for your impressions of an event, a post-Fabby conference in Orlando next a week from Sunday. So we're going to be there doing a Q&A on Genesis training in Orlando. So how many of you got that email and will be attending in Orlando next Sunday afternoon? Nobody? Who did not get the email? Raise your hand. Okay, you didn't get the email. Check your emails. And Michael, a couple people didn't get the email, so please resend that email out to everyone. Please look for it. I'll put a posting on, and please put a posting on Facebook and on the coaching. I did put a posting on the the Skype group. So check the Skype group, check Facebook, and please check your email. All right, it is 9:31. I am ending this call on time. I want to thank you all so much for your participation. If this was valuable to you, if you benefited from this, please, please, please post it on Facebook or your other social media outlets. Let people know that NAFAC is making a difference for 203K consultants. So until I'm able to support you again in the future, this is your 203K Queen saying thank you so much and have a great day. Be outstanding. Goodbye, everyone.